This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 877 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Debbie Laux, host of the Horsemanship Radio Show. Debbie takes on a listener question about going through water and provides several very useful techniques to help take the surprise out of water crossings. And we'll get right to it after this nutritional minute from Kentucky Performance Products.
This Nutrition Minute is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, the company that simplifies your search for research-proven nutritional supplements at kppusa.com.
Have you heard of a yeast called Saccharomyces boulardii? It's a type of probiotic that benefits your horse's digestive tract. Often referred to as S. boulardii, it works in several different ways. One unique property of S. boulardii is that it supports the stimulation of the enzymes found in the intestinal lining. These enzymes help your horse digest starches and sugars in the small intestine. When the sugars and starches are more completely digested, fewer of them escape into the hindgut, where they can ferment and cause imbalances that may lead to colic, diarrhea, and laminitis. Saccharomyces boulardii is found in Nalox Advanced, made by Kentucky Performance Products. Nalox Advanced contains a blend of yeast, fermentation solubles, and stomach buffers. These ingredients work together to maintain your horse's digestive tract in peak condition. Nalox Advanced is recommended for horses of all ages and stages and is fed on a daily basis.
This Nutritional Minute has been brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. You can find all of their terrific products at kppusa.com. Everybody's favorite is Horsemanship Mailbag.
Oh, really? That's good to hear. Yeah, here we have another question about crossing water, crossing streams, and things like that. So, This one came from our forum on the Equus Online University, and people were out this summer trail riding, and it says that they had a great time this year. Hope you can help me with this problem. My horse doesn't refuse to cross the streams or water, but he sure can jump them. She has in all caps. How can I train him to walk?
None of us have ever had that experience.
I know. Surprise!
I've had horses do that with the carriage, and that isn't much fun either.
Oh, that's true. That would be raucous. Train them through water instead of jumping to leap it, or leaping in. So most places the water is no more than an ankle deep. Isn't that funny? He doesn't seem to be afraid of it, but sort of dainty about getting his feet wet. Another annoying development is that the other horses in our group are starting to do the same thing after us on the trail. Isn't that true? It's contagious, isn't it? Yeah. So this is a universal problem. Everybody's going to encounter this at one point or another, even if those horses, go through water all the time. You go through a dry spell, they haven't seen water for a little bit, and for some reason they think it's like maybe 10 feet deep. I don't know why, you can see the bottom of the rocks, but they worry about that. So the first thing you want to do, reminds me of what Dad always says, is when you're working with a remedial problem, when you're doing your work right, repetition is your greatest friend. And when you're doing your work wrong, repetition is your greatest enemy, right? So we don't want to ingrain those habits and let them get carried away with this jumping or even refusing to cross. So the first thing we always ask people to do is to ground school their horse. They need to be listening to you about stopping, backing up, and moving forward. When you get those things so that they're really tuned for you on the ground, then go create yourself a water obstacle if you don't have one around. Get your hose out. But if you've got water puddles or something that you can maneuver around, then at home, then you're set. So So what you want to do is stay safe while you're approaching the water, but be prepared in case your horse has a tendency to jump. You want to know where he's going to jump. So you want to keep him in your eye at all times, but you don't want to be turned around looking at him either, because that we know in their vernacular means go away. So it's a good idea to walk your horse through the water a lot of times and then increase the size of the obstacle, then go back and forth through it too. Again, repeating a good issue and not letting them get away with something all the time too. It's an interesting thing too if you try to take your horse and back him through, because that means he really has to be listening to you. So if you get really good at going forward, see if you can back him through that obstacle as well. So now once you have your horse walking and backing through the water and you're confident with that, the next step, if you want to do a phase in between getting up in the saddle, is to pony your horse from another horse. Get a nice quiet gelding that they've been around before, preferably, and just ask your horse to, the gelding will be just really disappointed if that horse starts fussing around and they start schooling on him themselves, and you don't have to do much up there. So that's a nice in-between if you're a little worried about jumping or feeling dangerous about being in the saddle. And then once you've accomplished that, you can get up in the saddle and make sure that you've asked him to do it correctly every time you go through the water. Again, you can start with just a little bit and grow your obstacle so that you incrementally, which is the most important thing to remember, train him to do what you're asking him to do. Be safe.
Very good. Well, thank you, Debbie.
Well, there you go. You can find lots more tips on topics ranging from barn care to websites for horse people at horsetipdaily.com. Just look for the topics drop-down menu on the left. And you can listen, learn, and enjoy the Horsemanship Radio Show every week at horsemanshipradio.com. And now you can have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows, including Horsemanship Radio, with you wherever you go with the free Horse Radio Network app for iPhone and Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. Don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily, because they do make these podcasts possible. Today's podcast has been brought to you through the generous support of Kentucky Performance Products. You can visit them online at kppusa.com. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.